Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. This is the 14th video of Haiyang's Practice Proverb series. In last week's video, I asked the community a question about what type of content the community recommends to have on this channel, as we will be entering 2025 in 10 days. I have received some good ideas already. Thank you to all who have posted your suggestions. If you have any new suggestions, please let me know in the comments. You can also email me. My email address is in the description. Furthermore, I'd like to tell you that I'm open to any suggestions. I believe there is no such thing as a bad idea, as all ideas are constructive one way or another. My only objective is to make this channel better serve the community. Again, thank you all in advance. By the way, all of the proverbs covered in this series are my original creations, meant to preserve training knowledge in a proverb format for the benefit of present and future generations of practitioners. If you are new to this channel, please take some time to check out my content. You will find a lot of useful information about internal style martial arts and Shoudao practice. Following the same structure as in previous weeks, I will answer questions about last week's proverb and then move on to the new one. So, let's recap last week's proverb first. It was, 任何武功姿势皆是有形，而意无限，故要穷理。Translation: Any and all martial postures are limited in terms of form, but unlimited in terms of meaning. So, a skilled practitioner should pay attention to the unlimited concepts and principles carried by the limited form. End translation. Now let me answer a question asked by some community members. Luke Landry asks, quote, since the form embodies the parameters and frontiers of certain principles, should a teacher begin by teaching the principles first or the form itself? There seems to be two schools of thought on this. First, start with the Shifu's form, practicing without questioning until the student is ready to ask. Second, introduce the principles first, even before experimenting with the movement. May I ask your perspective on this? Thank you for this great question. I can only briefly answer here since it deserves a whole video. My answer is that it depends on many factors. First, the student's training background. If a student has practiced for a while and should know the principle first, then why not teach the concept and the theory behind the movement first? I always use this method. And second, depends on the content. If a teacher needs to explain a theory and the principles, then it has to come first before teaching any movement. I always use this method. Unfortunately, the situation is often not that the teacher knows about the principles and waits for the right moment, but the teacher only knows the form and none of the principles in the first place. This situation is a lot more common than one may think. So, to reiterate my answer, it depends on first, students' training background, and two, the impact of a principle on the movements. There's no definite answer for a specific situation. Also, it is worth noting that advanced teaching focuses on principle and theory, which is the big missing part in today's average internal style of practice globally. That's why I'm working on it through this channel. So thank you for asking this great question. I hope I answered it for you. Now let's move on to today's proverb. Very often, many people, including seasoned practitioners, get confused when talking about 站桩 or stake standing training. Today's proverb will explain it. It is 中国武功近代兴起之站桩有两种，松桩与紧桩，二者目的不同，故功效不同也。There are 5 sentences organized into 2 parts. I will translate the Chinese version word by word and then introduce the English version. Also, I hope you will pay attention to these Chinese versions of terms so you can use them in communication in the future. So in this video, I will use the Chinese term 站桩 instead of stake standing training, as most of you are aware of the Chinese term already, and I also found the Chinese term a lot easier to pronounce. Also, this video is not aimed at teaching you how to work on 站桩, but only to explain the fundamentals of 站桩, since if one cannot distinguish what type of 站桩 you are working on, then most likely the result will not be ideal. The first part, 中国武功近代兴起之站桩有两种，松桩与紧桩。中国 means Chinese, 武功 means martial arts. 近代 means early modern or recent century or centuries. 兴起 means popularized. 之 means of. 站桩 means stake standing training or just standing training. A very common training method used in all the Chinese style of martial arts. 有 means has. 两种 means 2 types. 松桩 means 站桩 in the relaxed state. 与 means and. 紧桩 means 站桩 in the strengthened state. Put together, it introduces that there are 2 types of Chinese 站桩. One is in a relaxed manner and the other in a strengthened manner. By the way, 站桩 practice has been used in the Chinese style of training for thousands of years, but it became very popular in the internal style of martial arts only from the beginning of the last century. Some styles such as 形意 emphasize this training very much. For example, the famous 三体式 or 3-body posture of 形意 is the frequently used posture in 站桩 practice. Then, what makes these 2 types of 站桩 different? That brings us to the next part. Let's continue. The second part, 二者目的不同，故功效不同也。二者 means both of them. 目的 means objective, purpose. 不同 means different. 故 means so that. 功效 means function, benefit. 不同 means different. Put together, it means that the objective of each type of 站桩 are different. So the function and the benefit of this type of training are different too. Based on my experience, the 站桩 in a relaxed manner is to practice relaxation. Very often, it is used in qigong or martial art practice, but for relaxation purposes. For example, during a break time between 2 training sections, instead of working on nothing, a practitioner can work on relaxed 站桩. I ask my students to do this as well. However, in martial arts training, most of the time we practice the type of 站桩 that applies the body in a strengthened state, but balances each body part without over strengthening, and we call it relaxation in martial Zhan Zhuang. This type of training can provide many benefits, such as sensing the inner martial energy, balancing each body part, working on static and dynamic structures, and so on. I ask my students to practice this one too, but not for an extended period each section. Therefore, if one wants to practice Zhan Zhuang for martial art training purposes, then the Jin Zhuang or strengthened one should be chosen, while for relaxation purposes, the Song Zhuang or relaxed one should be chosen. If you want to practice martial structure but choose the relaxed one, then it will not give you many benefits. Now, let's recap this proverb. In Chinese martial art training, there is the Zhan Zhuang practice, which has been very popular for more than 100 years. There are two types, including Song or relaxed stance and Jin or strengthened stance. The benefits are different due to their different ways of practice, which should not be confused. That brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you all found this proverb and its explanation informative, and I hope it benefits your practice. Please post your questions about this proverb in the comment section. I will answer them for you in the first part of next week's video. Thanks for watching, see you next time, and enjoy your practice.